Hey, peace world. I don't know what this thing is saying, but peace world. Thanks for pressing play on another Pay Me No Mind sports and entertainment video. I am Wood here, regularly talking my sports and entertainment, and plus also doing some bite down boxing coverage over here. Uh, in between trying to get some content together for bitedownboxing.com. Uh, Huge fight week. One of the biggest names in the sport. Thought it was interesting over the weekend seeing some different TV spots for Kovalev and for Canelo Alvarez and WBO light heavyweight champion Sergey Kovalev. Did see locally for all of those that don't know, one easy place to check out if you don't want to subscribe to the Zone. You can go to fathomevents.com, punch in your zip code, and get some theaters, you know, nearby that are showing the fight for you. The interesting thing is they are showing it at two theaters locally. For me, uh, there weren't any theaters. I had to drive a mile to either Columbus or Cincinnati to check out the Spence and Porter fight because they weren't showing it locally. A couple years ago, or whatever, year and a half ago, or whatever, for the final, the rematch between Canelo Alvarez and Triple G, they did show that one, and I made comments on my breakdown video that it was, I didn't even know all of the all of the Mexican population. That's the most that I'd ever seen. A group of Mexicans. That was the highest concentration that I had seen. Out in public, away from some of the two or three different Mexican restaurants. In my area, my little suburb or whatever. So. But then, from a full house for Canelo and Triple G, getting into the in December, I go back for the what was that, December 18? I go back for the Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury fight. It's like eight of us in there, you know, seven of us maybe. So, and then after that, they did away with showing them, showing the fights unless it's, the right pairing, I guess. But let's get into this, man. Very hard fight to really pick somebody. I'm not a gambling man, but I'm just struggling, even just giving my winner here. One thing the thing that I'm struggling with the most is the fact that Sergey Kovalev just fought. I believe it was August 24th, so that's the last week of August, and here he is fighting the first week of November. He's 36 years old, hasn't fought three times in a year since 3 years ago in 2016, and taking a note from probably a fight hype video with Andre Ward, I believe. Um, Here's a guy who was a combination, a flurry, away from being stopped by Anthony Yard and possibly being retired. You know, that flurry never happened. He gets out of that, what was that, the ninth round or seventh round or something, seventh or eighth round, comes back and then stops Yard, with that jab, with that power jab or whatever. Now, 6 7 weeks, 6 weeks later, whatever it is, this man is gonna go right back to work. So, I was like, you know, what does a fighter typically need coming out of a tough fight? What does a fighter need to just let his body just heal and relax before you get back at it? Could Kovalev, did he have enough time to get some sparring in? I've mentioned before, right now we're watching the World Series, and typically we have, the guys at the top of the rotation, coming back on 3 or 4 days rest, and sometimes doing some amazing things. Some pitchers haven't been able to pull it off. But Kovalev with the short turnaround, I'm seeing different people weigh in with it being a positive or a negative. I think we're really only going to know, once we get into the fight. One thing that was a little more encouraging for me in taking a look at the Kovalev side of his chances of winning is the fact I did watch a video on Dennis Dublin. He did get in some sparring, which I imagine he would have, but and it sounded like a couple of weeks, a few weeks worth of sparring and whatnot. So that was promising. Like I said, man, that just is stuck in the back of my head. The age, the wear and tear, the battles that he's been in. It's hard to pick him. On the other side, Canelo, we know the knee injuries, whatever is hampering him, the lingering issue that he has with, I think it's his right knee. But he's probably not doing road work. He tires and, gasses out, in the mid rounds of fights, or definitely getting into the second half. He fights in spurts. But, he's completely relaxed in there. He's experienced as hell. I don't know what his power looks like at light heavyweight. The obvious thinking is that he's going to attack Kovalev's body, who tried to come out and dispel, the belief that, he's weak to the body. Make of that what you want to. I've gone on and on before when people talk about, Keith Thurman, Kovalev, and, I understand that some of these guys don't react the best to body shots, but again, it's not like Kovalev has been out here just taking knees, after taking body shots. And here in this situation, Alvarez is facing a certain set of circumstances, challenges in getting inside, to get off his body work. So, like I said, man, it's one of those fights. I don't have a clue, man. And I don't even really root for either one of these guys per se. So I can't say I really have a rooting interest in this fight. Neither one of them are American fighters. I know some people are very high on Kovalev's out of the ring issues right now. And maybe he's a POS for, some of the situations. I know we have the track record of making some racist remarks and whatnot. He employs a lot of black people, though. When it comes time to make his money, he gets brothers involved. So I don't know what to make of that. I just expect it to be a pretty decent fight, man. I would imagine, Kovalev to work that jab, one of the better jabs. Try to keep his space and distance. He's a guy that works well when he can fully extend, and land big shots. Not the devastating puncher that he seemed to be 2 or 3 years ago. Doesn't always fight not always the most aggressive dude. I guess for me, man, the ideal situation would be is if he could show up and be the same guy that he was against Alvarez, another Alvarez. If he could put forth that type of effort, this fight could be really interesting, and he possibly could win it. Alvarez, like I said, the size difference is startling when you look at it. I don't know if he can hurt Kovalev up top, and like I said, he's gonna have to walk through some fire to get inside to land the body attack. And I'm beating around the bush to say I'm just gonna watch this one and see what happens. I'm a fan of weight classes. I believe in weight classes. So to tell me, and Kovalev is not Rocky Fielding, who had no answers, and Alvarez got him out of there with the body shots and whatnot. So I don't know, man. I'm kind of leaning towards Kovalev, but I'm really just leaning towards a competitive fight. But again, that short turnaround with Kovalev's wear and tear, his age and whatnot, who knows what to expect. In that co-main event is Ryan Garcia and Romero Duno. I didn't see a whole lot of Duno. I've only seen him once or twice in action. I didn't see a whole lot in him in his last fight. Again, another shorter turnaround for him, but they're younger fighters. But I just think it's a good test for Garcia, and we'll get an idea of what his next step could possibly be. I don't think it totally gives us his full trajectory, but I think if he's able to get past Duno, then we definitely can feel better with him stepping up, to another another level, moving on from Duno. This Sinessa super bad Estrada fight against Marlene Esparza. I'm interested in seeing that one. They've been going at it online for quite a bit of time now. It'll be good to see them settle that. Rising welterweight, Blair the Flair Cobbs against Carlos Ortiz Cervantes. I'm interested to see that. I mean, Cobbs is I'm looking for guys who could possibly be a an opponent for Terrence Crawford, man, because he needs some help. Now, this would only be, Cobb's 13th win. I'm not suggesting that he's in that stratosphere right now to just go in there and fight, but with what's going on with Errol Spence Jr., maybe need some time away and whatnot. Who knows what his outlook is for 2020? I'm just looking at guys like Cobbs, Ortiz Jr., Virgil. When are some of these guys going to be ready, and would it be a possibility for top-ranking Golden Boy to do some business? That's basically it. We also have the debut of Evan Holyfield, the son of Evander Holyfield, super welterweight. Interested in seeing how that goes down. This Miguel Burchell fight with Jason Sosa that's going to be on ESPN. I think that one starts at like 10 or 10:30. Good fight, solid fight. Kind of looking at not the ideal opponent, for a world champion in Jason Sosa with his 3 losses and 4 draws and whatnot. But, he's a guy we've seen before. He's been up and down. I'll check it out. Jerwin Ancajas, Jonathan Javier Rodriguez for the IBF Superfly title. Ancajas is a guy I enjoy checking out, seeing what he's about, just getting some eyes on him. Salcedo comes back. Alex Salcedo comes back against Mr. Rod Salka. I don't know, man. It's the end of the year, man. It's the end of the year, and a fish got to swim. So some of these fights have to be made. Keep some of these guys busy, and try to set up things for early 2020. So it's just seems like pretty good action. It's at that Dignity Health Sports Park out in Carson, California. So I'll check that one out too. Friday night, I didn't see any press release or anything on this, but it's a Mayweather Promotions card. I guess it's going to be at Sam's Town. I am interested in seeing super featherweight Xavier Martinez against Jesse Crease Rosales. Rosales just fought Tyler McCreary out of Toledo, who's going to be facing Carl Frampton later this month. In a very close match. Rosales lost to McCreary. Martinez has a nice game, so I'm interested to see what he does. Also on that card is Richardson Hitchens taking on Kevin Johnson, who's 7-1. This is a super lightweight fight. Richardson, has been, on these PBC undercards for the last 2 years, man. And, maybe this is finally a child. I don't know if he's in the main event on this one. I would imagine he's in either the main or the co-main. But he's 9-0. It's a chance for him to kind of, separate himself, showcase his skills, and again set up some good business for 2020, and see if he's ready to start taking some steps forward in the same manner that a Christopher Colbert is kind of finally doing. So want to see what Hitchens brings to the table. Excuse me. The remarkable thing is that Ava Knight, who just fought like 2 weeks ago in an MMA fight, man, this coffee got me jumping. Ava Knight is facing Luna Del Mar Toroba. Like I said, damn, 2 weeks ago she was in the octagon. Kevin Newman II, Chris Reyes. Oh, Rolly Romero is on this one. I don't know if he's going to make the. Like I said, I didn't see the press release on this, so I don't really know what the TV lineup is. But obviously, Rolly has been, kind of at the forefront of boxing news with the rivalry going on with Ryan Garcia. Romero is at 9-0 against Juan Carlos Cardones, who's 14-1. So I'll be interested to see if I can check that out. Maybe that's on either the Mayweather Showtime, boxing's. Hopefully they stream it on, like Showtime's YouTube channel, or I think Mayweather has a Facebook page where they stream some fights. So hopefully these undercard fights will be shown on there. Other than that, that was kind of all I had to really talk about for boxing. Like I said, man, I'm interested to check out this Canelo and Alvarez fight. I did see where Canelo, they made the grand arrivals, I believe, yesterday. And I saw some video that had, or maybe it was on Boxing Scene, but Canelo was ready for, a fight with, what's my man's name? With Beterbiev is not off the table. And, we need to see what you do Saturday before we even take a look at that. See how he reacts to power at the 175-pound weight class, and see how his power translates. Him a little more bulked up and whatnot, depending on how they put this weight on. How mobile is he? How agile is he? Is he able to fight his fight and look like the Canelo that we tend to know, or is he being backed up, and being dictated to? So we got a lot to before we even start. We got a lot to see before we even get to entertaining Canelo and Beterbiev. So with that said, man, I'm gonna jump on off here. Hey, have a phenomenal day. And that's about it, man. Bite down, boxing. Don't let them count you out.